Welcome back, everybody. We're diving into a topic that seems like it's just everywhere these days.
Yeah.
AI regulation. Governments, tech leaders, even like my grandma.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure out how to handle this whole AI explosion.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? AI is not just some sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's impacting all of us, and figuring out the rules of the road is it's kind of crucial.
Totally. And today, we're looking at a country that's kind of become a bit of a role model in this whole AI governance thing, Canada.
Oh, they're really out there, kind of setting a precedent, showing what a thoughtful and proactive approach to AI regulation can actually look like.
Exactly. So for anyone listening who's maybe thinking, okay, Canada, that's cool, but why should I care?
Well, because the decisions they're making over there could have ripple effects, you know?
Mhm.
They're influencing how other countries are going to approach AI. Plus, a lot of the challenges they're tackling, like bias in algorithms or data privacy, those are universal, right?
Absolutely. These aren't just Canadian problems. They're global problems that need global solutions. And it seems like Canada's been thinking about this for a while, right? They didn't just wake up yesterday and go, oh, AI's a thing now, we better do something.
Right. It's been a process. Like, back in 2017, they launched this thing called the Pan-Canadian Artificial Intelligence Strategy. I think Jay Poole actually called it the world's first national AI strategy, which is, that's pretty significant.
2017. That's what, like years before the whole ChatGPT frenzy kicked off. So they were ahead of the curve, huh? What was the idea behind this strategy?
It was more than just, let's become an AI superpower, though they definitely wanted to be competitive. The real core of it was, how can we use AI to solve problems that Canadians are facing, you know? Things like healthcare, climate change, even supporting small businesses, like using AI to make people's lives better.
So they tied AI development to actual tangible benefits for their citizens right from the beginning. That's cool, but how do they actually put this into practice? Like, give me an example.
Sure. So they invested a ton of money into their AI research ecosystem. Institutes like the Vector Institute, Mila, AMI, these are places where some seriously cutting-edge work is being done.
Give me an example, like something that would impress even, someone who lives and breathes AI.
Okay, so researchers at the Vector Institute, they actually developed this machine learning model that can detect early signs of heart failure just from using electrocardiogram data, which is huge EE, right? Because it means doctors can intervene sooner, potentially save lives. It's a perfect example of, using AI to actually improve healthcare outcomes.
That's amazing. And this all stems from that initial strategy back in 2017, right? So they're really walking the walk, not just talking about it.
Exactly. But they also recognize that, AI isn't some magical solution to every problem. It comes with its own set of challenges and risks.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Like what? Give me the worst case scenario.
Well, think about algorithmic bias. If the data that an AI system is trained on is biased, the AI is going to be biased, right? And that can lead to some seriously unfair outcomes, especially in areas like hiring or loan approvals, even criminal justice.
Yikes. That's a bit scary. So how is Canada addressing this? Are they just hoping for the best or?
Oh, no, they're not messing around. They've got this piece of legislation, the Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, ADO, and it's kind of a game changer.
Okay, AODA. Spill the tea. What is it?
Basically, it's a framework for responsible AI development, sets out clear guidelines for how AI systems should be built, how they should be used, with a huge emphasis on minimizing risk and ensuring fairness, like we were talking about.
So it's not just about hey, innovate as fast as you can and don't worry about the consequences.
Well, no. It's more like innovate responsibly. Think about the impact of what you're creating, build in safeguards, be transparent about how your AI works.
So it's like they're saying, look, we love innovation, but not at the expense of people's well-being.
Exactly. And what's even cooler is that ADA doesn't just focus on the end result. It focuses on the process. Developers are actually required to assess their AI systems for potential bias before they even release them.
That's interesting. So it's not about waiting for something to go wrong and then scrambling to fix it. It's about baking in those ethical considerations right from the start.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes Canada's approach so unique and so, I think, so promising. They're really trying to get ahead of the curve and shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
This is fascinating stuff. Canada's really out there, leading the charge when it comes to responsible AI development.
They are. And you know what's even more interesting? It's not just about domestic policy. They're also playing a big role on the international stage.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive deeper into some of the other amazing things Canada's doing in the AI world.
Can't wait. One of the things that really stood out to me about Canada's approach is how they're handling data privacy. I mean, AI systems, they just devour data, right? So figuring out how to balance that hunger with people's privacy, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, we want AI to have access to data so it can learn and improve, but not at the cost of, exposing people's sensitive information. So
Yeah.
what's Canada doing?
Well, they've gone all in on building their own AI infrastructure, including, get this, a sovereign data processing platform.
Okay, hold up. Sovereign data processing platform. That sounds like something out of a spy movie. What does that even mean?
Basically, it means that they're creating this ecosystem where sensitive data can be processed within Canada's borders under their laws. So they're not relying on big foreign tech companies to handle all that data.
So it's all about control, right? Like keeping their data close to home where they can make sure it's being handled properly.
Exactly. And it's especially important when you think about things like health data, financial data, that kind of stuff. That's super sensitive, right?
Yeah, you don't want that, like floating around in some random data center who knows where. So by building this platform, they're basically saying, we're taking data privacy seriously, and we're going to protect our citizens' information.
Exactly. It's a big statement, and it shows that they're not just talking about responsible AI. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
I like it. Okay, so they're doing all this cool stuff to support AI development and, promote ethical practices. But what about within the government itself? How do they make sure AI is being used responsibly in their own operations?
Well, for that, they've got this tool called the Algorithmic Impact Assessment, AIA.
Okay, another acronym. Hit me with it. What's AIA all about?
Think of it like an ethics check for government AI. So before they roll out any kind of AI system, they have to go through this assessment process to figure out, are there any potential risks? Could this thing lead to biased outcomes? That kind of stuff.
So it's like a built-in safety net to make sure that government AI is actually serving the people and not, accidentally discriminating against anyone.
Yep. It's about transparency and accountability, making sure the government's AI is aligned with their values.
Okay, so how would this work in practice? Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine they want to use an AI system to help process visa applications. Could be really efficient, right?
Yeah, but I can also see how that could go south really
Right.
quickly if it's not done carefully.
Right. So before they launch that system, they'd do an AIA. They'd look at, what data is the AI being trained on? Is that data biased? Could the algorithm itself be biased? Would it treat certain groups of applicants unfairly?
So they're really scrutinizing this thing before it goes live to make sure it's not going to, perpetuate existing inequalities.
Exactly. And if they find any red flags, they've got to fix them before that system sees the light of day.
That's really cool. And it seems like Canada's got this, multi-pronged approach to AI governance, right? They're supporting research, they're addressing bias, they're protecting data privacy,
Yeah.
and they're holding their own government accountable.
And they're not keeping it all a secret. They're actually sharing their knowledge and experience with other countries, trying to help everyone navigate this whole AI thing.
That's awesome. So what's the big takeaway here for our listeners? What can we learn from Canada's example?
I think the big lesson is that responsible AI isn't just some optional extra. It's essential. And it's not about stifling innovation. It's about guiding it in the right direction.
Yeah, it's about making sure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few. And that's something worth fighting for no matter where you are in the world. Now, for our listeners who are totally hooked on this topic and want to dive even deeper,
You've got to check out Jay Poole's YouTube channel, Tech Frontiers. He does such a good job of breaking down these complex AI issues, and he's always got the latest insights and analysis.
perfect. And you know what? I'd also encourage everyone to do their own research. Read articles, listen to podcasts, talk to people who are working in AI. The more informed we all are, the better equipped we'll be to shape the future of AI in a way that, benefits humanity.
I completely agree. This is a conversation that everyone needs to be a part of.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a future where AI is used for good. It's like Canada's done a lot of the heavy lifting, right? Figuring out what works, what doesn't. Now it's up to the rest of the world to take those lessons and apply them in their own way.
Yeah, totally. It's like a starting point, Each country's going to have its own unique context, its own priorities. But the core principles, I think, those are pretty universal.
Totally. And you know what strikes me? Canada's approach, it's not just about rules and restrictions. It's more about fostering a culture of responsible AI.
Yeah. creating an environment where ethical AI can actually flourish, not just survive, but thrive.
Exactly. It's like, how do we make sure that innovation and like human values, how do those things go hand in hand? That's the challenge, right?
Big time. Finding that sweet spot where technology and society can both move forward, but like in a way that benefits everybody, not just, a select few.
Absolutely. So for everyone listening who's like totally inspired by Canada's example and wants to learn more, where should they go? What should they do?
Well, first of all, check out Jay Poole's YouTube channel, Tech Frontiers. I mean, he's like the go-to guy for all things AI. Always has great insights, keeps things really understandable, even for like people who aren't, tech experts.
Love it. And I'd also say, don't just stop there. Do your own research. There's so much information out there. Read articles, listen to other podcasts, even like talk to people who are working in AI.
Yeah. The more informed we all are, the better decisions we can make, right?
Exactly. This is a conversation that everyone needs to be a part of, like whether you're a developer, a policymaker, or just, someone who uses AI in their daily life.
Totally agree. The future of AI, it's being shaped right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play in making sure it's a future we can all be proud of.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into AI governance, Canadian style. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a future where AI is a force for good in the world.